Hello and welcome everybody to the 16th episode of the Founders Forum. Today's episode is about Trump's new ballroom. So let's get right into it. So yeah, this new ballroom Trump is building is a very big project done in the White House, and it caused him to, need to tear down the entire East Wing, which is kind of devastating because that's a lot of history to be just torn down like that. And you'll see why it's even more devastating in a minute. But back in August, I actually took a visit to the White House and got to tour the East Wing. That's where I walked in and got to see most of it. So, and that was August 20th. So, I think, I don't remember when it was, but sometime in the beginning of September, Trump, and like that was, when the construction first started. So, I was very close, like one of the last people to, one of the last visitors to see the East Wing and get to go inside. But yeah. So anyway, originally the ballroom was supposed to cost $200 billion, right? Which is already way overpriced. You kind of tell that Trump definitely got ripped off. Like it doesn't take a genius. But yeah, and slowly the price got higher and higher. He went from 200 billion to 250 billion, then to 300, and now it's that $350 billion. And of course, if the government themselves, actually no. If it really the only bad thing about it really is that this is coming from the taxpayers' money. This isn't because Trump said that the tech companies they all came in and paid for it, but we all know that's not true. No one's paying $350 billion for a ballroom. Maybe a little bit they chipped in, but not $350 billion. So and they probably pulled less and less once they realized the price was only getting higher. So, but anyway, so it's $350 billion, and it's proposed to be 90,000 square feet. And so that basically means right there that Trump is paying almost $4 million for um for per square foot of the ballroom. So and it's 90,000 square feet. So that means it doesn't even take like a genius. Like any real estate developer would know that Trump is seriously getting ripped off here. Like it's not even funny. And this is where the theories come in, because they're saying how could you possibly pay that much for a ballroom? No, government facility or not even like some ultra luxury building or mansion could cost that much, right? Um, and it obviously it is decent in size, but that would not make it, 350 billion. So, this is where the theory comes into play. There's you know, a theory that it's it's not really because well, let me just explain something first before theory, because Trump loves to say that there's this big need for the ballroom and that they've been wanting it for almost a century or something like that. But the truth is, there really was no need for it. They do have plenty of meeting spots if there is some big event. If there's not, then there's plenty of other places in Washington D.C. where they can meet. So there really is no need for the ballroom. It's just extra, and unfortunately, we the taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. So. And this, by the way, is one of the things that I am against. You know, one of like whatever Trump's doing, right? And speaking of the White House, yeah, he did tear up the Rose Garden and turned it into the Rose Garden Club, which is just pavement and places to sit. Anyway, back to the ballroom. So, uh, yeah, it's basically really was no need for the ballroom. So, then you realize, then why is he building in the first place? So there's a theory that it's for American data centers, which is basically just storage for, AI companies and stuff like that. But that's like a little less popular. I think the one that would make more sense is that there's a bunker being built underneath. And for what reason, I don't know, because the White House already has a bunker. But again, these are just theories here because, it only makes sense for a theory because, again, why would this ballroom cost $350 billion? it should, again, I don't know how much it should cost, but I know it should not cost $350 billion. And guess what? My guess is that I guarantee you it will go up to 400 because, of course it will. Actually, it might not, but whatever. Um, but now in 2020, in December 5th, I think it was, Trump actually fired the architect for the ballroom because Trump wanted it to be bigger, or to, like Trump wanted it in a way that couldn't physically happen, and that's what the architect told Trump. And because the architect wasn't a yes man, right, didn't just yes Trump to death, Trump fired him. And the White House took a very long time to find another person to, want to do this because everybody knows that it just can't happen. So, and if the architect says something to Trump, that it can't happen again, right? And Trump fires him and they can't find someone else, that means they just tore off the entire East Wing for nothing. All that history, all the rooms for nothing. The movie theater was in there. Think like I don't remember all the rooms exactly, but all I know is it was a lot of history. You know that just could have been. It's a lot of history that could have just stayed the way it was. We didn't need this ballroom. It didn't have to be torn down, and it's not like it was going to a greater cause. It could have possibly just been torn down for nothing, and there's nothing we can do. We can't get it back. We can try rebuilding it, but it's not going to be the way it was before. It won't have that original factor to it. Anyway, so yeah, it's just not really a good situation, and it's one of the few things I'm against Trump doing. So yeah, I guess that does it for today's video. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.